Greetings. Welcome to Talk About Pop Music. I'm Bill Wikstrom. This is the Vinyl Views segment. This week I will be discussing the Fleshtones Speed Connection, Speed Connection 2, the final chapter. New York's The Fleshtones are one of the longest-running CBGB's era bands. They've continued for the last 39 years, since 1976, without a single year of inactivity. Their blend of freakbeat, soulful garage rock has always resonated with live audiences throughout the world. In 1980, they signed with Miles Copeland's legendary I.R.S. Records. They released two magnificent studio albums, Roman Gods and Hexbreaker, two EPs, Up Front and American Beat 84, about a dozen American and European singles, and two live albums, Speed Connection, live in Paris 85, and Speed Connection 2, the final chapter. The album was recorded live at the Gibbous Club in Paris, France, in March of 1985. The band were booked to play 9 shows at the club over a 2-week span in 2 segments, March 5th to 9th and March 13th to 16th. The band had recorded their first show on March 5th, and at the urging of the French division of I.R.S. Records vice president and original Police guitarist, Henry Padovani, subsequently rush-released it to sell at the venue during their 2-week stay. The record was titled Speed Connection, live in Paris 1985, and was released only in France. Cover art was by French illustrator Serge Clerc. However, the band was unhappy with the record as lead singer Peter Zaremba had a severe case of laryngitis the night the show was recorded. The band owed I.R.S. Records one more record to fulfill their contractual obligations. In September of 1985, the label released Speed Connection 2, the final chapter, a recording of their third night on March 7th, 1985, at the Gibbous Club. Return to the Haunted House was actually a studio recording with canned applause taken from the live album Rock Will Never Die by the Michael Schenker Group. The same recording also later appeared, minus the canned applause, on Angry Years 84 to 86, a compilation album released on Impossible Records in Spain in 1993. The cover artwork was by organist and lead singer Peter Zaremba. Both albums were produced by ex-Strangelove Richard Goddard of I Want Candy fame, who had also produced albums by the Go-Go's and Blondie. The album contained many cover versions of songs by other artists. Trouble in Haunted House by the Kingsmen, Wind Out by R.E.M., La 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 Reprise by the Blondells, When the Night Falls by the Eyes, 12 Months Later by the Sheep, who were actually the Strangelove under a pseudonym, and Hide and Seek by Bunker Hill. In critical terms, Speed Connection really only hints at what a Fleshtones show was like in the 1980s, as sadly the horn section hasn't really been a fixture of the live shows since the mid-90s. Peter Zaremba's laryngitis is only partially to blame for the lack of success of the original Speed Connection record. A limp recording is basically what mars the proceedings. Speed Connection 2 is far and away the superior of the two recordings. Everything sounds better and Zaremba's voice is in fine, wild form. The band is tight, as it generally always was at the time, and still is for that matter. R.E.M. guitarist Peter Buck makes a special appearance on 2 songs, and the horn section sounds nice and appropriately sloppy. The album received uniformly critical reviews at the time of its September 1985 release, but the label did literally nothing to promote it. I'm wondering if this is the best starting place for a Fleshtones novice to start looking into what the band sounded like in the 1980s. This is possibly the best representation of the band's live prowess, as there is a sloppy, loose, and sweaty soundtrack to a mid-1980s party appeal to it. Highly recommended for fans of garage rock and rock and roll all around. We're talking about pop music. I'm Bill Wikstrom, and this was the Vinyl Views segment.